Vibe with Five. We're here. Make sure you tune in and stay with us today. We've got the one and only Ravel Morrison on the screen.
Man United, the building itself, do you know what I mean? The facilities. I took it for granted.
I text two managers this morning when I knew you was coming on, and I asked for 5 words from Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson, and he texted me back this. Listen, I know you and Wilf really well, so I don't want no beef or I don't want no animosity. I said that to you on the phone when we were speaking a while ago, yeah? Seeing that and hearing that come across, how does that make you feel?
Yeah. You already know the vibes. Looking in with the guys. Even Rio and Joel. I got tune into 5. You know the vibes, you know the guys, you know the trio. You know it's D, you know it's Joel, you know it's Rio.
Yes, guys, we are back. Vibe with Five. Listen, it's going to be 2 separate entities this week. We put out a little shout. Man United, the defending. I can't go without speaking about that. The way we defended in that last game, drop points. I know Joe wants to speak about Arsenal. That's fair enough. But the other side of it, we've got Ravel Morrison coming in to speak to us, to give us a little bit about his upbringing, the way he transferred from club to club, the reasons behind it all, and much, much more. So listen, stay tuned and make sure you drop a comment to see if you like the flex. Ravel Morrison on the screen. He's here. He's joined us. How you doing, bro?
First ever podcast.
Yeah, man, good. Nervous, good.
You nervous? It's your first podcast, isn't it?
Just camera shy.
Listen, man.
I'm not a media person,
I've known you since you was a kid, man, and I've been banging on to try and get you on anything I've done over the years. Yeah. Everyone wants to know about Ravel Morrison, child superstar, one of the best. Sir Alex Ferguson texted me this morning and said you was on a par with Scholes and Giggs at 15. He's never seen anything like it. Did you always know that you was this good as a kid?
No, I just enjoyed football. I think the team that I was in when I was a kid, there was many top talents there. So playing alongside them, it become very easy. You know, like you have Jesse, Pogs sat behind you and stuff like that. It's easy, man.
Like, I used to come and watch you lot train and watch you go to Old Trafford and watch you lot in the FA Youth Cup and stuff like that. Like, you was looked at. I always say this to everybody. Like, you was the superstar of that team. Listen, Pogba was talked about as a great player coming through, but Ravel Morrison at that age was looked at. Did you know your status?
No, I didn't. When I was young, I didn't understand what playing for Manchester United was. Do you know what I mean? Now, if you look back, you think, wow. But football is just, obviously, you just love the game. So you just go in and training, enjoying yourself. Didn't know how big it actually was.
What do you mean? You didn't know how big it was? Like, you didn't realise like the enormity of what you was doing. That, wow, I'm at Man United. And how seriously you needed to take it, or what?
No, it's like because that was my environment since I was a kid, so it just become normal. And obviously, when I would come train with yous, that was on another level. But then when you're with the reserves, it's just like you with your friends playing football every day, enjoying it.
If you're looking back on them times at Man United when you was a kid, and you look back now as an older, more experienced Ravel Morrison, what advice would you give to yourself as that young 15, 16, 17-year-old?
Be on time. That was my worst one. Be on time. I remember Joycey. I used to get into heat discussions with Joycey because I turned up 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late. But obviously, I didn't see it being a problem because I was so young and I didn't mean to be late, but obviously people see it as a disrespectful thing. But I didn't think it was when I was younger. I just thought it was a mistake.
Is that your number one reason for getting in trouble when you was coming through?
Being in the wrong place at the wrong time was my number one mistake.
What do you mean? Like, is that like so when I was a kid, I used to be I'd be hanging around with the wrong kids on the estate, maybe, or being at a friend's house till 2, 3 in the morning playing computer or whatever it was. Is that the type of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like I moved from Wythenshawe to Stretford, and it's the wrong crowd, you know. Growing up, I would be out till 2 in the morning, not coming in, and then I'm supposed to be in training at 9 in the morning. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sleeping correct. I'm not eating correct. I'm not living the lifestyle as a footballer. Do you know what I mean?
So my question is why why? Because
I don't know, because obviously
yeah, why? Because obviously we speak to you, we've had the chance to speak to you off camera. It's clear that you love football. Do you know what I mean? And you're not a bad guy. So what is it? What was making you like be around?
It's because like I said to you before, Manchester United is my environment. It was like my home. You go there every day. Or if I was in school, you'll go in there 4 times a week. But then in school, I'll be with my friends. I'll leave school and be with my friends. So the only time I'm getting taken away from my friends is if I'm actually going to training. Do you know what I mean? So it's an easy distraction.
And is that, do you reckon that's because of maybe your background and your upbringing? Is that anything to do with it in terms of like not being punctual and not maybe having someone there being on you all the time? Because listen, I've met your mum and your family. Your mum's busy with your other parts of your family, your brothers and that, your nan and granddad. Busy people working to put food on the table. So maybe her focus sometimes goes off you and gives you that time to be a little bit more relaxed about things.
Yeah, it's obviously my mum's she's a single parent and she's got 3 children. And obviously my dad wasn't around. So it was hard for my mum. You know, she's got me that's out every night. She's panicking where I am. And then she's got 2 little boys that she's got to look after. So it's for not having a father figure or an older brother, it was difficult because she was alone.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and that's a big responsibility as well from your mum. Do you know what I mean, to deal with? And I remember coming into do you remember when I come into the Mr. Gill's office at Old Trafford to come and speak to you, and your mum and your brother and your brother was there, and your nan and granddad was there, and that, and just like you was signing on, and they wanted you to focus and stuff like that. And even then, I could see that you loved the game, but you was having difficulties outside of the pitch. Because am I right in guessing here? You tell me if I'm wrong. Did you just find it easy, and that was your place where everything just ran normally for you on the pitch, on training, and everything outside was a bit more of a difficult thing to deal with for you?
Yeah, it's like when you go to football, it's like I said before, that was my environment. You don't think of nothing when you're there. All you think about is football, enjoying it, having a laugh with the other players. But then, as soon as you leave football, you've got 1,000 things on your mind. I want to go link this guy. I want to go link this one. I want to go to this party. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult because at that age, everyone's out. No one's indoors. Everyone wants to be at this party because that's where everyone's going to be at. And this one's going to be there. That one's going to, you know what I mean? So it's, I've got a missus now, so I've got to be careful what I say.
Yeah.
But this one's there, and then I've got. But when you go football, it's like only football is on your mind. You just love playing the game, but when you leave, it's 1,000 things on your mind, like I said before. Do
you think you could have worked harder at your game? Like what you could have worked harder? That's one question. And do you think if you had done that, you would have been at Man United for longer?
Yes, it's a possibility. I could have worked harder. I could have worked harder on my football training, sleeping, eating, living correct, everything. But then being at United, I think you played in that team where you had Scholes, Rooney, Ronaldo, Berbatov, Vidic. It looked impossible to break into.
And you didn't feel the confidence. You didn't think you was going to get in there.
Yeah, you might have global superstars. So you know what I mean. It's not an average team, that one.
But why would you feel like that when you've had all these massive players? You're talking about global superstars. I've never heard Rio or even Rooney speak about a player the way they spoke about with you. Surely that must have gave you that special confidence that, you know what, I'm the next one up. All I got to do is keep on going, right?
Yeah, you can feel confident, but this is a team that was winning Champions League, Premier Leagues, dominating England for years. And then you've got me coming up. Come on.
That's mad, you know. That's mad because I swear to you, it's mad because all we ever talked about in the change room was like, at times, was like, boy, this kid, it's just a matter of time. If he gets himself right off the pitch, this kid's got the world at his feet, man. It's just a bit off the pitch that he needed to get right. And he's I'd said this before. I came in from training one time. You trained with us when you was about 15 or 16. Tell me if you remember this, yeah? And Darren Fletcher was sitting next to me and he was shaking his head. I said, Fletcher, man, what's wrong? He said, the kid's taking a piss out of me, man. Taking a piss out of me, Rio. I said, what do you mean? He said, he's just looking at me in my eyes when he's running with the ball and then popping it off and running around me. I don't, what's he doing? I can't believe it. Like, you was that good. This is like a Scotland international playing for Man United, feeling he's getting the mick taken out of him by this young kid. And you didn't have the confidence to think you could get in that team. Are you mad?
Yeah, I think that was adrenaline, you know, excitement.
What, coming with the first team?
Yeah, he was, like I said before, he was winning the league and Champions League finals and beating Roma 7-1 and stuff like that. It's like coming to train with these players, it's a different level from training with reserves. So your excitement, you don't stop running, you're buzzing around.
Rav, where was you happiest? Like, you look at your career, where did you enjoy your football the most?
There's been two places. There was a QPR with Harry, and then the whole of West Ham. I enjoyed the West Ham the most.
What? Why? Tell us why.
I feel like Harry put confidence in me. I felt confident with Harry. Like, if you lost the ball, you wouldn't shout, he wouldn't get on at you, he'll just tell you to go again. So you feel like you can go again. In some teams, if you lose the ball or you give it away, you feel a bit pressured, you know, the next one. But Harry just give you ultimate confidence where you feel like you can't be stopped. West Ham, it's a good changing room. It's enjoyable. I think the team itself, the place. I went on loan the first year, but when I come back, I started playing. Also, Sam gave me confidence. He trusted in me, and that was the main thing. And the fans, I like the fans there. Crazy one. You know that, Rio. Wicked
Crazy
fans
down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you speak about West Ham, yeah? That game, man, and West Ham's biggest game is Spurs.
Come on.
And that goal that you scored, man, like, talk me through that, please.
You know what, I didn't realise how big of a game it was. Like, I was chatting to Kevin in the warm-up saying, I think we'll beat these today. I feel confident. And then Kevin saying, yeah, I think we'll beat them as well. But I didn't know it was a derby. I thought Millwall was the West Ham derby. And then after that game, it was like, whoa. You know, I think as a team, though, that game, we played well. And that was probably the most enjoyable and best game I've ever played.
Is that the best goal you've ever scored?
That's what I was going to say.
I don't think so.
Go on. Which goal then?
I think for England, maybe, against Lithuania.
When, what did you do?
I went around the keeper and that. It was kind of similar to the West Ham goal, but with the England goal, I went through like 3 players and took it around the keeper. So I think plus also that's
not everybody's happy with that England goal, by the way.
that was. I think that's my best goal.
Yeah,
Come on,
man.
guys.
Nah, because I know that obviously even in that game, I saw an interview with Wilf Zaha the other day, and he was chatting about obviously very good player. Love the
Yeah.
stuff that they're doing on that podcast as well. I found it really interesting. He said you was running around like Ronaldinho, bruv, like taking on the whole team, and do you know what I mean? The guys were the supporting cast, as how he put it. Did you feel that way when you were playing? And was that the intention?
No, it's just like I said before. You go out and enjoy yourself. You know, you play for the team, but if I'm playing for the team and if you score 2 goals, you're doing your job for the team. But I think it comes to a point in that game where I'm on 2 and you want a hat trick, you know. Like scoring a hat trick for England doesn't matter what level it's at, it's a massive buzz. And I think me and Saido Berahino, we were both on 2 goals each. And we was talking and we was like, oh, we'll see who can get the hat trick first. And then I think I took a shot outside the area and blazed it over the bar, and then went out the stadium. I think that's where they started getting a bit vexed.
Do you think that also because you're similar players as well, you both want that attention as well? You want to get on the ball and you're entertainers. Wilf's an entertainer, Ravel Morrison's an entertainer. The way you play, is that probably part of it as well?
You know what? Wilf's a bit more. He likes the attention. You know, I go there to play football. I enjoy myself. I go on the pitch and I don't try and drop 10 step overs. It's just natural. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't understand in his interview where he said, "Oh, everyone else could do that. If everyone else can do it, go and do it." Do you know what I mean? You go and enjoy yourself. We're winning 4-0. What should we do? Pass the ball back or to the side? Enjoy yourself. If you can take 5 players on and score, go and do it. Only looks better for you in your career.
You said something earlier, though, that I think not a lot of people expected this. I didn't expect it. I don't think Rio or Joel expected it to come out of your mouth. When you was talking about the Dutch league, you said Dutch league's easy, certainly compared to England. And you spoke about how you see and want to play the game. Can you just repeat that again for us? Because I think people need to hear you talk about that and maybe compare the differences to. It's a rarity for an England player or an English player to have played in Sweden, in Mexico, in Holland. Like, you've played all over the place. And I think you've got a perspective that not a lot of people have got. English players seem to be a bit scared of traveling around and doing that. Give us what you were saying before about how you see the game being played and all that. Because I think it was a brilliant little line. I think it needs repeating.
I think with English players, we complicate the game a lot. We have to make like the most difficult pass to think that we look good or good players, like the hardest diagonal. But in other leagues, football is simple. You play it 5 yards, you move, you do a 1-2 around someone. It's like Pep took it to City. But that's how you play in Holland and many other places. In England, it's like you have to do 3 or 4 things in a game to prove yourself that you're a good player. In Holland, you do a 1-2 around a person, and over there, it's just normal. You take someone on, it's normal. But in England, I think we make it very difficult.
Listen, I know you and Wilf really well, so I don't want no beef. I don't want no animosity. I said that to you on the phone when we were speaking a while ago. Yeah, when I see the interview, but like seeing that and hearing that come across, how does that make you feel from a teammate?
I don't know, man. I think like the way he's come across that podcast is like he had me backed up in a corner in a changing room or something. We had a little problem on the pitch. When we got inside the changing room, he didn't say a word and I didn't say a word. There was no bad energy or no bad vibes. Everyone's buzzing we won the game. But the way he come into that interview, he's like, he come into that changing room with some bad energy, and I'm just sat there under pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like, Wilfried as a player, I think he's a wicked player. Everyone knows that he's a great player, but I think this bad energy that he gives off in the interview, that's not Wilf. If you know Wilfried, you know what he's like. Do you know what I mean? There's no bad boy in Wilfried. He's a good kid, and I don't know. Yeah, I've seen him talk. I watched the whole interview. I've seen him mention his brothers and stuff like that, but that's not Wilfried's lifestyle. It might be his brother's style, but it's not Wilfried. So to come into the changing room after, like he was on some type of bad boy energy, I don't understand it.
Well, listen, I don't want it to go no further than this, man. That's it. Like, as I said, I know you both, so it's just one of them things. Some people talk, and you respond, and we spoke and reached out to each other on that respect. But I want to get back to the football, man, and just let people know, like as I said to you before, the young Ravel Morrison. Why do you think you've had to go around all different clubs and not really found a home there where you stayed? You said your best times were at QPR under Harry and Big Sam at West Ham. Why have you not been able to stay somewhere and become a consistent performer?
I think it's because a lot of people already have an idea of what I'm like, have a picture in the head of what I'm like. So people don't want to commit and say, "Oh, we'll bring him to the club for 2 years, 3 years," because you think, "Oh, we'll give him 6 months because he might be a problem." Do you know what I mean? And then by the time I do come into that 6-month period, it takes 3 weeks to get into the team, to gel and everything. And then by the time you're losing fitness because you're not playing games and everything like that.
That kind of happened to you at Sheffield United. And when I knew that you was coming on, I reached out to Chris Wilder and I said to Chris Wilder, "Chris, tell me, I just need 5 words from you that describe Ravel Morrison." And he texts me back, 5 words on Rav: unpredictable, a maverick, humble, a natural, and frustrating. Was that about sum you up around your time when you was at Sheffield United?
Yeah, Chris is a top manager, and he's a manager that, you know, all the players have respect for, because he treats everyone the same, man. But the only frustrating thing about me, well, with the time at Sheffield, is that I wasn't getting much game time because Sheffield was flying last year. You know, they had great results, and also they also have good players. Flecky's unbelievable. You get Lunny, them two in midfield. Then you get David McGoldrick. They had a good team, and he was all performing last year as a team. So it was frustrating that I wasn't playing, because I would have liked to play in that team, because I thought I could bring a lot to it. But with the results that he was getting, you can't really complain, you know.
Go on, Joel.
Yeah, man. So just taking it back to what you were saying, I find it very interesting. You're talking about trying to get into the team, etc. You said there's a reputation. Do you think that's also got anything to do with colorism when it comes in? Like, oh, don't know, heard some stuff, not sure about what his friends look like.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I'm 15, 16, and you're hanging around with a group of people, you know, that bad in people's eyes. It's not bad in my eyes, because this is, when I grew up, this is all I knew, you know. But then I think people still stick with it now. Like, I'm 28 now, and people still think, oh, he's still doing this, he's still doing that. But you don't actually know me, do you know what I mean?
Are you still friends with them kids from where you grew up?
A few people, yeah, still. obviously I'm more of a family man now. Do you know what I mean? I have 2 little brothers. I'm with them a lot now. But as in going out and that, no, I don't do that stuff no more. Grew up.
True. Living like a pro.
Yeah, trying to. This coronavirus and pandemic's a bit head mess, but nah, trying my hardest.
How's that affected the football and the consistency of training and stuff like that? Have you struggled getting regular training and stuff like that?
Well, I've been doing I go to it. I do a lot of runs. I do 5Ks, 10Ks. I do go to my mum's and I do a garden workout with my little brothers. So, good.
You know what? It's Rav, I've always known you're an Arsenal fan and Joe will be happy about this. I know he knows that anyway, but at the training ground, because this is how confident this kid was. We'd be getting our lunch and that. So me, Giggsy, Nev, Skull, everyone's getting Wazza. We're all sitting down on our table, the first team table, and he'd be in the queue, and he'd say to I remember we said to Gary Neville once, Arsenal are better than United. Arsenal. I'm gonna go to Arsenal. I'm signing for Arsenal soon if I can. Mad stuff like that. Do you remember that, Rav?
Yeah, because I wanted to play with Thierry Henry, man, but.
Hey, tell him what you told me. Tell him what you told me when you said, right, obviously, what you said about the teams then.
Obviously, Rio knows that he played in the superstar team, but obviously the way I like football and my style, Arsenal was the one, man. They had Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira.
Come on.
Wicked. Will Todd and Elka. Campbell.
I thought it was a red. I see his brother at United all the time. I thought it was a red.
Nah.
Yeah, me and my little brother, we have heated arguments. He's a diehard red, but can't stand him at the minute, man. Especially United second. He's one of the mafiousest kids going.
So when you was at United, yeah, was you the best player in that team? I think everyone used to say it. Did you feel like you was the main man in that team with Pogba, with Jesse, etc. in that team, Ryan Tunnicliffe and all them?
I don't know. I thought Paul, man. I thought Paul was always wicked. Pogba was wicked. Even Will Keane.
Yeah,
he was class. He had a touch like Berbatov when he was young. And we used to always call it him in the change room. I think we had a good team all around.
Yeah, that's what
when we was playing
team belting.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on. Say again.
With the FA Youth Cup, with the team that we had, I was confident we was going to win it. I didn't ever think we would get beat.
For you to perform, Rav, did you used to have to feel comfortable in your changing room and stuff? Like the moment that you feel a bit uncomfortable or not appreciated, is that when it becomes difficult for you?
When I was younger?
Yeah.
No, man. Remember I got kicked out of the changing room.
What was that for?
For teeth in your boots.
What was you doing there? You was taking our boots. I'll tell you, you tell me if I'm wrong or you want to tell it. You used to take our boots and take them down to goals to show his mates.
No, obviously I was on a scholar wage,
Yeah.
Obviously I was young, and then you used to get $250 for a pair of boots. You get one pair. You take 2 pairs of boots, you get £500. You go home and then you buy your family a Chinese or something. It's like, whoa.
So he's in our change room just taking boots. He had all these players' boots. He was just he couldn't believe it, like a sweet shop. But I get it now.
You all used to get 30 pairs of boots.
But this is the problem, yeah. You didn't have anybody to explain this for you when you was younger, because I think if the guys had been able to have been explained to, especially the people at the club, it would have been a better outcome for you. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of these type of things happen because you didn't have the communication skills to say, "Listen, this is why I've done this." That was a problem for you, no?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't mean it to cause so much harm. Do you know what I mean? When I used to see yours or Rooney's deliveries, you get 20, 30 pairs at a time. So thinking one pair of boots to put some food and money on the table at my own. I didn't think it would be a big problem, but obviously now I know boots is what you mold your foot to. Do you know what I mean?
What other stuff was going on when you was at United like that you just think, like, look back on and you think, what was I doing, man? What was I doing? Like, you'd look back on yourself and say, listen, forget that, man. There's bigger things to do now.
Time, training. I didn't appreciate because I didn't know anything else. Like Man United, the building itself, do you know what I mean? The facilities, everything, man. I took it for granted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I know.
Have a look at
Definitely.
this text off Fergie, Rio.
Yeah, so I text 2 managers this morning when I knew you was coming on. I text the last manager you played for in the Premier League, which was Chris Wilder. I've told you what he said, and I asked for 5 words from Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson, and he texted me back this: Rio, my first and lasting impression in Ravel as a young lad was he has always got time and space, always available to be on the ball. So unusual for a young lad of his age. Give my regards to him, please. Another thing about Ravel, which I've always treasured because no other young player who made their debut did it. After the first game in the first team that he played, the next morning he came to my office and gave me a letter thanking me for giving him his debut. I was gobsmacked, Rio. The boy had a good heart. He was just beaten by his background.
Yeah, man.
I almost started crying, bro.
Yeah, when I made my debut, that was, I don't know, words can't describe that, you know. Make your debut for Man United, but
First touch was a fucking back
only a
heel.
minute as well.
Pardon?
His first touch was a back heel.
I know. What does hearing that from someone like Sir Alex make you feel like?
Yeah, it touches you, do you know what I mean? Because if I could go back in time, I would change 90% of my life. So it touches you, but you just gotta look forward, man. You can't think about the past too much.
What was in the letter, Rav?
Yeah, what was in the letter?
Oh, I can't remember that. I just can't remember that, you know. I think it was just thank you. Obviously, the appreciation of letting me go out there and play for Manchester United, letting me play with the team that they had. Like I said, it was just a massive achievement. I probably didn't deserve it. It was probably other people that was more professional and worked harder and everything, but he gave me the opportunity.
Did the manager put a lot of time into you? Did he speak to you a lot? Like, did he pull you aside and say, "Listen, Rav, sort yourself out, man. Like, there's a place here in this squad or something for you, but just sort yourself out"?
He didn't, you know. He was more. He was. Remember Dave Bushell?
Yeah.
He's not even a coaching staff. He was more like Dave. Tony Whelan looked after me. Mark Dempsey, but like Mark Phelan and that, they didn't really speak to me, you know. Like, I didn't ever think I was going to get into the first team because the first team coaches never said, "You'll be with us today, you'll do this, you do that, do this and do that," to make you think that, right, you've got a chance. Do you know what I mean? It was, but obviously I understand because the team that he's had, there's a lot of focus there than me. Obviously, I can't expect well, I don't know how to say it, like the focus on me when you are going for the league, the Champions League, and everything.
What were the likes of Dave Bushell, Tony Whelan, Mark Dempsey, and all them guys? What have they been saying to you around these times? To help.
Demps left, but Demps through the academy, he looked after me all the way through. He protected me a lot. Like when I was getting in trouble, he'll cover for me. If I was late, he'll cover for me. Tony Whelan's the same. Them two is close with me. But then when I grew up, Dave helped me a lot with education, trying to get me being on time, trying to get me to places. Because sometimes it was I struggled to get into football. Like I couldn't get there sometimes. Like I couldn't get a lift into training. My mum didn't have a car. My gran and granddad live on the other side of Manchester, so it's difficult at times to get actually in. So Dave helped me. Sometimes picked me up, or sometimes got me a driver.
I remember I see you one time. You coming in a white van, and I said, "What's going on here, Rav?" Remember?
Anyway, I'm getting into training,
Yeah.
I remember one time I come on my bike.
Oh man, hey, by any means necessary. Listen, we threw it out there, yeah. We threw it out there to get some questions for you, yeah, because I think a lot of people are interested in what Ravel Morrison's doing, man, and the feedback's been like crazy. So, guys, we tried to pick out a few questions, didn't we? Do you want me to go first?
There you go.
Right, Ravel, who is the best player you've played or trained with? That's from Pickin 1987.
Train with is probably got to be Ronaldo, isn't it?
It's all right, him.
It's not bad.
Yeah, he's all right. Don't know what he did since I left United, though. Gareth Hill on Twitter says, was Big Sam's pressure on you to change agent the reason that you left West Ham? Wish we could have kept you.
Yeah, I would if he had the opportunity, I would have stayed at West Ham all the way through. I had offers to go other teams, Newcastle, Fulham, but I enjoyed West Ham that much. The club, the people, the fans, that I would have stayed there all the way through football. So, but no, Sam's a top guy. We just went through a difficult period. But you know what happens in football? Stuff happens sometimes, and it can be frustrating. It can be the best thing. It can be the worst thing.
I got one. This one's from Matisse. He said, "We've obviously seen the growth in you. When did it all click in your career?"
Probably when I went to Mexico. I grew up a little bit there. It's the life and everything. It's a lot different to England. The poverty, everything. You appreciate what's in England and the football and the life that you've had.
Why did you leave? What happened there? Because I know that Mexico, bruv, I'll be real, bruv. I'm hearing those guys, there's cartel stuff, there's a whole heap of madness going on over there. What's the situation? I heard from a couple of your guys that you were happy there. So when you had left,
I wanted to go back, but I had 1 year at Lazio, and when I got back, and they weren't letting me go back. But Mexico is enjoyable, man. I met some good friends over there. The people appreciate you. See, in England, it's a lot of politics. If you're in Mexico and other places in the world, if you're good enough, you play. Sometimes it's not that way in England. You could be good enough, you could be the best in the team, you could be working hard, but you could get someone that's not got half your talent that plays, and that's what gets you frustrated.
It looks like you're at the stage in your career now where you're being blamed for this. At the same time, it's almost as if you're being abused as well at the same time. Like, what are you thinking in your head during this time?
I hold my hands up, when I was young, I've made many mistakes. But I do believe my time at West Ham, like that wasn't down to me. I wouldn't have left. I would never have left that club. But stuff happens in football. Like, everyone doesn't see like what goes behind the scenes. Football can get you down. Football can make you depressed. It can make you be in bad moods with your family, with your friends. You don't want to be, but you just can't get out of this mood. It's frustrating at times. It plays a massive part in your life.
What do you need now to be happy and playing regularly and playing week in, week out? Because you seem like you've struggled to make, double figure appearances in the last few clubs.
Yeah, just you need a manager that has confidence, doesn't throw you in for one game after 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and think you're going to be the best player on the pitch. Obviously, everything takes time. You can't just jump on a pitch and think you're the best player on it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how good you are or how much talent you've got. Everything. There's people out there that play week in, week out. The fitness levels are a lot higher than yours. You play 4 or 5 games. You're also going to be fit. You're going to come into the game, and you're going to be able to do a lot more than you did with one game in 4 weeks.
Which player now, when you watch the Premier League or watch football in general, which players excite you now, and you think, yeah, man, that's me. I love that.
Well, I've always looked at Raheem. Raheem's wicked. For me, he's a player that I think, yeah, I'm happy for him, and I'm so happy that you've gone in your life and done this. Because I think not just on the pitch, I think outside of the pitch, man, he's just a great person, man. Pogba, I think, wicked, man. Obviously, do you know the players that you grew up with, and you see them doing well? Makes you happy, man. It's like when Jesse just went to West Ham.
This is
I reached out to him straight away, and
let's like finish this on something high. Talk to me about playing with the Reggae Boys.
Oh, wicked! We're going World Cup. 100%, man. We're going World Cup. I got faith in this team.
Yeah. Why? You got good players, good team, manager.
Good spirit, We've got wicked players. Like when I went over there, like you don't expect some players to be as good as you are, and you think, well, we have a young player called Tariq, bro. Wicked. Maggie, wicked player. Like I think he could come to the Premier League, man, and dominate. He's like a little David Silva.
Is it? Where's he playing now?
He's playing in Belgium now. Also, you have like Leon Bailey, Mark Hector, Bobby Reed, Daniel Johnson. We have a good clique now.
When you go back there, you're going to be getting the love properly. Like, after this whole the Corona stuff happens, you're looking forward to actually playing over there.
Must get some love now, innit? Must get a free party in that now.
Would you be content with your career, Rav? If you can finish your career having played at a World Cup, do you think with everything that's gone in the past, do you think you can look back and go, do you know what? I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for how big it would be for Jamaica to qualify for the World Cup. If you get Jamaica to the World Cup, I think it's a massive achievement, Obviously, I'd still like to 28 now. I still like to play at a good level, Championship, maybe scrape to Premier League or something like that. You never know what happens. I didn't ever think Sheffield United would come around, but yeah, getting Jamaica to the World Cup, massive achievement.
Cool. Joe, you got any more questions?
after we qualify.
Yeah, you come back after you qualify, yeah?
100%.
Yeah, all right. We'll have you on. We'll hold you to that, definitely. After you score a wonder goal at the World Cup or something like that.
100% against England.
Real quickly, yeah, going forward, we're not trying to spoil any potential stuff or whatever, but you know, are you looking optimistic about club football this season in 2001/2002? Because obviously you was in Holland, you've left. What's the plans? What are you looking? What are you hoping to do?
Well, I had a meeting this morning with a championship club, and I think that's looking very positive. I've also got a team in. I'd like to go in, but I'd like to stay. Thank you. I like to stay local. Do you know, because I'm a family. I have 2 little brothers and my mum. I've been traveling all my life, man. But I've got a team in Spain as well in the La Liga, so maybe that could come up. That could happen.
All right, well, good luck, man. Listen, from Vibe with 5, we just wish you a really, really prosperous next few years, man. I want to see Ravel Morrison out there playing, gracing the turf, man. So I've enjoyed talking to you, bro. I'm sure all the other guys have as well. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Rav.
thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Rio, do you reckon there's anything more you could have done? Like hearing that about his boots, like, oh, your boots and Rooney's boots, and he's selling boots to put food on the table. That's not something you think you're hearing in like the 2010s, is it? That doesn't sit right with me. That. Do you think you could have done any more? Do you think anyone else could have done any more?
Yeah, I think if we're honest, all of us probably could have done a bit more. But like he said, we're all thinking about playing Champions League finals and trying to win the league and stuff like that. So the focus is elsewhere. But when I hear that, man, I just think, wow, man, I just wish I'd known more. And I used to speak to Rav. I'd pull him sometimes. I remember sitting him, Pogba, Januzaj, Lingard, all down on the pitch one time and just talking to him about are they taking this serious? They don't understand how serious it is. But yeah, I probably could have gone to Rav and said, listen, Rav, is there any more? What's going on? What's going on? But he was quite a closed book. He didn't want to talk a lot of the time in terms of like, he wouldn't have opened up really. He liked having a laugh. And he just was he seemed like a free spirit, just happy-go-lucky kid, man. But I didn't know he was having to go and put food on the table. You expect them kids to be earning a decent enough amount of money back then to have been able to support their mum and that and get them on a house and stuff like that. But obviously he wasn't on that type of contract that we would have expected him to be on. And I think I look back now with that tinge with I could have done more, definitely.
It was emotional. There was some stuff there that I had no idea on.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to speak to him. He's never spoken. I've listen. This has like been for years. I've said to him, Rav, man, let's speak. I'd help you do an interview to like the big newspapers before all this social media stuff happened, or come and let me help you do this. And he just want to play football, man. He just loves football. That's it. He's at his most comfortable and happiest when he's on that pitch, and all of this extra talking business is just long for him. It's just like it's stuff he don't really want to get into. But obviously, I think the trigger for him this week was obviously seeing Wilfried speak about him and say what he said. He didn't obviously agree. But I just like to reiterate on that point as well. This ain't a beef thing. This is more like, I know both of these kids, man, and I don't want it to be an argument. So to get their points across comfortably in a controlled environment, I think it's the best case scenario. And I think as he explained his side of it, Wolf's done his side. That's it. I see it as being the end of it.
Do you see the importance now, that you play? Because Rio, I see you talk to loads of players, like the Phils, Phil Foden. I've seen you speak to them when they were like young guys.
16, yeah.
Yeah, like what now would you say you would, not because you can't do everything, innit? You're one man. But what would you do now going forward when you see this kind of stuff? Because you're still close to clubs and stuff.
Yeah, I think the video you're talking about is when I spoke to the England under 16s or 15s before they went and won the World Cup, or under 17s before they won the World Cup. I've done it at United, and there were all of the things that I've done like that have been in group environments. And I go to clubs sometimes and do it and do talks, but it's always in a group environment, a team environment, which is natural at a football club. But you're not ever going to get to one kid who's the problem, who's got issues at home. The foundations in his house are very different. And you said earlier that, Rio, you're from a similar background, and how come it was different for you? you saw the enormity of the club and what it meant and all that stuff, and to become a footballer. But I might come from a similar area, what he's from, that will be you could say there's similarities in them areas. But again, my mum and dad were together until I was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
So them foundations are being built in from that early, them formative years. He was a single parent family from the beginning, from what he says. So very different in that sense. That one element there creates a lot of differences. Like my dad was big on timekeeping. I couldn't go home to my dad and say, I'm not going football for the next couple of days, Dad, because my timekeeping's been a bit off and I was late for training and that. My dad would go nuts. He didn't have that authoritative figure in his life because his mum, understandably, was so busy, man. She was trying to take care of a household, put food on a table, like he said she was struggling with, and keep care of 3 young kids who were all going in different directions. It's difficult, man. So we never know really what's going on once them doors close at anyone else's house, man.
I remember Brian McClare doing an interview. It might have been with United We Stand a while back when he was academy director. And he said one of the things which you'd never consider, or certainly I wouldn't have thought I'd ever considered, was when they was talking about 12 and 13 and 14-year-old lads as they were coming through, one of the questions Brian McClare used to ask to the coach was, who's with him? Who brings him to training? And if it wasn't, it's his dad, it's his mum, his granddad's always here. If they didn't have like that guy, and he was like, yeah, sometimes he gets, it's a different guy every time or something like that, they'd be like, he ain't gonna make it. And I don't think people understand the sacrifice required from a lot of families to be able to get that kid to training multiple times a week.
But it ain't like his family didn't try. Like I said in the interview when Rav was on it, I got called up after a first team game to go upstairs and see his family and see Ravel. And when I went in there, his younger brothers were running about in there. He was sitting there. His mum was sitting there. And his nan and granddad were in there. And so I think they were trying to make him stay with his nan and granddad and stuff. But sometimes, man, the company you keep sometimes is more powerful and more of a draw than your own family at times for some young people. And he was one of them. And he told you that himself, what he said before. So it's very difficult. And there's a lot of things that could have gone for it. Like the fact he said, listen, the manager never spoke to me. Mick Phelan, the first team coaches never spoke to me. And he understands that now they shouldn't have to. They've got bigger fish to fry than speaking to a young 15, 16-year-old who's meant to be a good player, but isn't right at that level yet. But where his mind was at that time with the immaturity, he was saying, well, if they had spoken to me, I might have focused. I might have believed I could get in that first team. All these other people that he's mentioned who were looking after him as a schoolboy, yeah, they can say what they want, but they're not going to get me in the first team. Only that one man who, if he speaks, am I listening to? And it never happened. But he understands now you couldn't have expected that to happen at such a young age.
All right. Do we have to talk about this weekend? Do you know what? I'm going to say, when we said we would bring in an Arsenal fan on this weekend,
yes, because
I thought I know who it was going to be, and I'm going to keep a powder dry on that because I think we will get him on eventually. But that's who I thought Joel was bringing on. I didn't think he was going to pull in Ravel Morrison for that Arsenal support. That shocked me a little bit. Did you enjoy your weekend, Joel?
Enjoyed it. You know what I mean? You guys thought I weren't going to be backed by a proper Arsenal fan. Well, surprise, isn't it? Got in Morrison. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy it?
No.
It weren't a good watch this weekend, man, and it's becoming a consistent element of my concerns of Man United over the last for a long time now. The defending,
bro. You got your chest because you're sounding a little bit flat there. Like I need you to, do you know what I mean? Talk to me. Yeah,
right. You got a bounce in your throat right now, boy. After one good weekend in 6 or something like that you've had now. Is that right?
Yeah? Half now or not?
Yeah, listen, a few weeks ago, you two were giving it all that talk about it's just West Brom, calm down. Yeah, it's not easy, is it? It's not easy.
It's not when you're defending like we had. Right, Rio, you might have known a thing or two about defending back in the day. Maybe. I'm not sure. But we'll find out. For me, it looked a little bit like Maguire went down easily. What was your take on that? Because I don't think you can be trying to look for fouls as a centre-half. That does not compute to me in the slightest.
Well, not in this country anyway. That's not something that you associate with our defenders. I think if Harry's being honest, he'd wake up in the morning and be embarrassed with what he'd done, really. It's not what you want to see from a defender. And I don't think that's what he's prided himself on in all his career. You try and be cute, I understand that, but it would be embarrassed. If he sees that back, he'd look back and go, bloody hell, what am I thinking? But no, I think the bigger picture is that that area needs addressing in the team. That centre-back area 100% needs addressing. I think Eric Bay has shown that when he's fit, he's capable, but his problem has been staying fit. His problem has been being a regular in that team and stringing out double-figure games on the bounce. It's been a problem for him. So, and Lindelof at times looks comfortable, then at other times he looks very uncomfortable. Like this weekend, looked very uncomfortable playing against a striker who was physical, was in your face, who's a problem, who's aggressive, and
Has
he just
got it in
couldn't
his
deal with
locker
it.
for challenging for headers that are coming into the box like that? Because I know he's got a weird stat where he's seemingly very good heading, but for me, those headers are like around the halfway line, goal kicks, returning those. I don't really see him attacking a ball coming into the box. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, I think sometimes stats can throw you off of the scent a little bit. And I think, listen, that goal there is down to one thing. That's aggressiveness, desire. The striker's got his hands in his face, everything. And you can't complain. That's what football's about. He's lucky you weren't playing 10, 15, 20 years ago because it'd have been getting battered and bruised every game. But and that would have been the norm. But listen, when the ball comes in that box, it's about who wants it first. And listen, I played with a few players who it was their heart and lives depended on it and getting to that ball. And like the likes of a Vidic. But even myself, when you're in that box, it's about you don't want to be embarrassed. Simple as that. There are times when you're going to lose challenges in them areas, but it's happening far too often. Far too many times in semi-finals, etc., where the ball's come into the box and a red shirt is not getting on the end of it first. And that leads to positions of where you're dropping points. And everyone says, Man United ain't a championship chasing team. Well, they got themselves into a position to be championship chasing team.
Come on.
So play like it.
Mm-hmm.
So and like your heart and let people know that. Do you know what I mean? And go out there and understand where you're at. And go.
Is this coaching, or is this individual player sort it out?
No, I think there is coaching to it, but also I think, listen, Ollie can't be out there holding people's hands. You got to have people that can actually walk the walk themselves. There's only so much coaching you can do before a player goes out there and actually he puts it into play. Ollie can't be there all the time.
Explain this, yeah. Fair enough, you've spoken about the defense. That is obviously an issue watching. I was watching it thinking, flip sake. But going up top, right, last few minutes of the game, I don't think you guys were moving with enough urgency. Getting outside the box. I'm seeing 10 step overs. I'm not seeing the ball going quick enough. I'm not, Man United used to be known for in the last 5-10 minutes of the game, the pressure was up. People are taking shots left, right, and center. How do you feel when you see it? Can you see a change?
I still believed once we got that goal, I thought it was ours to lose now. We'll win it. We were going to go on and win this 2 or 3-1. I did think that. I don't know about you guys, but I did genuinely. This Man United, this team, it gives me that feeling. It gave me that feeling, but it never played out like that. But you can put the blame at the forwards door, but I think more than anything, Man United are going behind in far too many games. That's a bad habit. That's something that has to be eradicated because you're putting the strikers under so much pressure to go and have to score 2 every game. The strikers must wake up. We've got to bang 2 today to have a chance. Now, City have got into the position they're in from doing the 1-0ers, keeping a clean sheet and doing the 1-0 ugly at times. Now they're playing fruitful, beautiful-looking football, which we've known City to be known under Pep for years. But that's after foundations being built on scrappy games. Man United can't do that at the moment. Keep a clean sheet and win a game ugly and scrappy and just scrape through. They're not doing that. So it puts huge pressure on them strikers.
Bruno said it last week, didn't he? He was moaning at like inability to keep clean sheets. Like we allowed Everton to score 3 past us.
Well, you don't win leagues if you don't keep clean sheets. That's a fact. There's no new written rule book on how you win a league. It's having a good defense. That's the platform there for a team to go on and be successful. There's no coincidence that City are the best team in the league this year because their defense has tightened up 100%.
And that's what he was talking about. I told the both of you, he was talking about the defense. You're not telling me, no, it's the whole team in general. Nah, bruv. He is talking about the defense. There you go.
I'm going to delete your number, Joel. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, you boys done well. You know what? One thing I am happy. I've got to be honest with you. I'm delighted that Aubameyang is back scoring goals. I want to see his smile, man. That's what I love to see. He smile like that. And he ain't seen it enough this season since he signed a new deal. So I'm happy he's back.
Yeah, no, someone like that is an important player. We want to make sure we need him scoring because when he's not scoring, all jokes aside, yeah, it looks sad. And on top of that, there's so much pressure on the young boys. We're happy that Emil Smith-Rowe's doing well. We're happy Saka's doing well, but you can't put all that pressure on the boys, man. It's just too much. But I know look, producer Jake is saying we got to get off now. All right, so we have to.
I got a question for you, Joel.
Go on.
Right, so you've won a game now, so everything's sweet for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you got a double header with Benfica coming up on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
You've got City, Leicester, Burnley,
Thursday nights as if you're not in it.
Yeah, well, it's different Thursday night for us.
Why? What? Go on.
I don't know, just it is. You got Spurs, you got West Ham, you got Liverpool. Is that a blip win, or do you think you're actually going to turn the corner and maybe charge into the top 9 in the league this year?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at the league, yeah. No, I'm gonna put my BT analysis on like Rio during the course of the week. I'm looking at the league, and the difference between 14th and 10th, yeah, is I'm not talking about the points, but it's real close. If we're not careful, we could finish 14th, and that's just me keeping it 100. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'd be talking about Arsenal. We could finish 14th. We may wrap this up right now and let that be the thumbnail and everything. Yo, man, I love you, man. I love your honesty. Your hands on your heart there. I know I can see it beating with pride with Arsenal, but boy, they've put you in a position where you just look like you look lost, man.
Bro.
You look like a man beat.
Listen, before we go, I also want to ask you guys in the comments, where do you think your team will be finishing as well? I know we've asked you.
Yeah, right. State your team and where you're going to finish. Because, apart from City, anyone could probably finish 4 or 5 places away from where they are now.
Man United have finished second, 100%. Don't trust me on that. Put your car keys on the table, your house keys.
He's done it again.
Man United are finishing second. Trust me.
And that means you're not going to finish lower. And also, whoever's right at the end of the season, we could have a prize for you.
Yeah.
So you get those comments.
I'm going to get you some bad boy prizes. Trust me. If your team finishes where you said they're going to finish, there's a prize out there. Big prize.